We're going to provide you with the installation instructions start to finish for all the Pure Barre renovations. Step one is to evaluate your Pure Barre job site. Once you evaluated that and you found out what the subfloor is, what your prep is going to be, what the tools are you're going to need to prep, and the patching compounds, then you go to step two. Step two, in the studios, you're going to have carpet and pad. So step two is removing the carpet, removing the pad. Then you got to evaluate what's on the subfloor. Step three would be to remove any excessive adhesive residue, skim it, sand it to make the surface ready for the new pad that you're going to put down. You're going to dry lay the whole floor with the padding, rolling it out, gray side up, cut it to fit on the walls. You'll be pulling back the pad in one half of the section, troweling your adhesive, the PSA adhesive provided, let the adhesive set up to where there's no transfer to your hand, roll the pad into the adhesive, and do the same to the other side. During the pad installation, there are pulley bars on the floor that have either square plates or L plates that go into the concrete or the subfloor. Those, you will need to cut the pad around those plates. You cannot go over those plates or else you will have a buckle in the carpet on the surface. Once your pad is installed, then you're going to snap your chalk lines to create your starting point for your Kinetics tile. The tile has a pre-applied adhesive called Prefix on it, which is covered with a plastic film. You remove the film and start installing the tile. The tile is to be installed in a quarter turn fashion. Make sure your arrows are going in two directions only. This has a pile, so if you install a tile in the wrong direction, you will get a shadow that's not supposed to be there. During the Kinetics installation, you want to make sure when you're measuring for your starting point that the carpet tile itself does not, the seam of a carpet tile does not fall directly on the seam of the pad. You want to make sure that your tile overlaps the pad seam by at least 6 inches. When installing your Kinetics tile, you want to make sure you stair step your installation so you keep a perfect 90-degree angle and keep your corners and sides square to prevent any gaps or any windows in the corners. During the installation of the Kinetics, you want to make sure you're not cutting the Kinetics on top of installed Kinetics. You want to make sure you have a cutting surface so you don't cut through the Kinetics into the installed Kinetics, creating a defect or cut line in the face of the newly installed material. Once the installation is complete, you take your 100-pound roller and roll the full installation to ensure that the pre-applied adhesive is bonding to your pad properly. It is possible that on some of the Pure Barre locations you may run into a facility that has a wood subfloor. If the wood subfloor is particle board, chipboard, knotted plywood, or OSB, you can't glue to these subfloors. You're going to have to install over top of these floors a sanded smooth plywood subfloor, which is going to have to be glued and screwed down over top of the existing wood floor. Then you would float or skim coat the joints, and then you can prime and install your LVT and carpet over top of that. In the lobby areas in the bathroom and storage units, there is going to be LVT installed in all the Pure Barre renovations. Step one for the LVT installation is to make sure your floor prep again is proper. Once your floor is properly prepped, skim coated, and sanded, the next step is to snap your chalk lines for your starting point of your LVT installation. When your chalk lines are snapped, then you can spread your adhesive. We are troweling the adhesive provided with a 1/16, 1/32 by 1/32 U-notch trowel. Again, we are allowing the adhesive to set up. You have no transfer to your hand from the adhesive. Then you could start the layout of your LVT, staggering it like you would a normal wood floor. Once your LVT installation is completed, then roll it with a 100-pound roller to complete the install. When evaluating your job site, you want to make sure you don't have excessive moisture. Pull back a piece of LVT and check your adhesive underneath there, or if you see the buckling or popping of the LVT, you may have a subfloor moisture issue. If there is excessive moisture, then you're going to have to scrape that floor down, properly prep it, let it dry, and then use a absolute adhesive from W.F. Taylor's which does not require any subfloor testing, moisture testing, and it goes up to 100% RH, or you could use Spray Lock Platinum Resilient Adhesive.